Welcome to He Did This to Me, the sports podcast from a father and son who happen to be mostly optimistic Mets, Jets, and Knicks fans. My name is Nick, a.k.a. Goody, and with me is my old man, a.k.a. the big guy, Noel. And just like his name, all we do is win. Let's get to the show. It's time to begin. Man, the no garden music today. I tried. It didn't work out. But Liberty, I know we both just finished watching that game. That game is going, that series is going to a game 5 on Sunday. Stewie couldn't buy a shot, man. She just couldn't buy a shot.
Nick, I almost feel like I almost feel a sense of relief that while I do watch them and I root for the Liberty, obviously being a New York team, I'm not that heavily invested.
Sure.
Like it's one of our teams. So while I was just annoyed there with the end of that game and how it went down and how Stewie just, man, I'm not like upset. I'm not worked up, and I'm not letting myself get upset about it. I got too much else on my plate right now. I don't need more. They need to figure it out though, because they should win this series. That one game that they blew, the second game in the series was just catastrophic.
Now that looms large. Now that looms large, that game, yeah.
I happened to be watching that night, and she couldn't buy one that night either. I mean, could not buy one. Nick missed a foul shot.
Missed a big free throw, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then tonight, I mean, dude, man, come on, man. She had so many opportunities to do something tonight, and like sometimes, big shot, not even drawing iron.
I know. Some of those shots down the stretch, like you said, I mean, just total gag jobs. But like she wanted it. She wanted to keep putting them up. And I actually happened to be watching the previous game on my phone as I was watching the Mets, lose a couple days ago, and I saw that shot by N.I.C. And when N.I.C. put up that shot tonight at the end, which for a couple things, that foul at the end, that foul that they called on her,
that was a terrible call.
She's boxing out. She's a smaller player. She's boxing out. Disco jumps over her. What does she put her hands back? I know the hands thing, but you don't make that call right then.
No,
not right then. No, especially not in women's basketball where they hack each other all night.
Were so physical. I don't understand. That's the deal, man. With the game being as physical as it is, I don't understand how you make that call right then. That's not well done.
Yeah, I thought that was very, very piss poor by the ref right there to, inject themselves in the game. And that UNESCO shot that she gets up at the end, she treated it like there was 0.7 on the clock. There was 2 seconds. Right. Take a dribble. You don't have to you don't have to take that, you just have to get it out of your hand. It doesn't have to be on the rim. And it's still almost got close, like it was a little bit long, but in the air, it seemed like there was a chance it might drop or maybe even go off glass. But no, now they go to game 5. Almost every game, I think every game in this series has been like a very close, highly contested, close at the end game. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out on Sunday. But let's talk. And Dad, I'm telling you, towards down the stretch, I had the exact same thought as far as like, I want to see them win right now, but it's kind of nice that I'm not like fuming right now over the way that this game.
I would have been fuming if that was the Knicks. I would have been fuming.
fuming. We'll get to the Knicks here in a little bit. Let's first talk a little bit of Metropolitans. We are not dead. They're still alive. I texted my boy the gif of the Undertaker like popping up earlier after Pete hit that home run. We're still here, man. We're still here. The series, we're down 3-2. We go back to LA and we have a game 6 and a game 7 starting on Sunday. And hey, man, this team refuses to die. They always get up off the mat. They always give you a chance. Pete got that home run in the first inning, which was just like, it just like let everybody like collectively breathe. The fans in the stands, the fans at home, the entire offense. I felt like after that, there was like a weight lifted off their shoulders and the Mets get it done. They score a ton of runs and now we have a day off and we have our best pitcher, especially here in the playoffs, Manaea going to the hill. And then once you get to game 7, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Listen, man, this team is incredibly resilient. We have to be thrilled with them in every which way. This next game is obviously going to be nerve-wracking. Again, need to get out in front. These guys, the Dodgers, man, they scared the hell out of me, man. And this is exactly why I didn't want to play them instead of San Diego, although San Diego is playing really well too. But I just feel like the Dodgers can score 5 runs at any time. And there's so many guys who can hit home runs on that team. And now you got guys like that fool from center field, Pajes hitting 2 home runs today. That guy's got a bit of an attitude. I'm not a big fan.
You're not a fan of his. Well, oh, you don't like his mannerisms and the
A
way
little
he
swag, and
gesticulates.
then you can see he's gotten into a little bit back and forth with Alvarez, right?
Yes, I saw. I
Yeah,
saw.
yeah, yeah. I mean, come on, man. You hit a home run.
I mean,
Let's
but we
go.
do have
You're
a
down by
winker on our
8.
team. We do have a
I
winker on
know,
our
but you're
team.
down 8.
No, I'm with you. I hear
You're
you.
down 8. That's the only reason. I don't care. You can show off all you want, but you're down 8. Take it easy. But anyway, nobody's going to throw at anyone. There's too much at stake. But
I saw some people online saying they thought maybe Pete got thrown at earlier.
No way.
When
They're
he
not
got hit.
trying to put people on base. And why? Because he got a couple of hits. He hit. No, that's silly.
And he hit the home run. He's got all the
Well,
stuff.
the chef's kiss.
Listen, I think everybody does shit like that nowadays.
Everybody
so it's like
does
you
it now.
can't,
That's ridiculous.
yeah, those guys have definitely, had their share of celebrations for sure. And
the pitchers do the same thing too, Nick. I mean,
that's always been
used to exult like that back in the day.
But that's for years always been one of my arguments when people talk about some of the hitters and what they do. It's like, dude, this guy like goes nuts when he comes off the mound after getting a big out in the 6th. Like, how is that? Not something that we talk about. But I like that baseball in general is just letting let the kids play. Was the thing that they said a few years ago, and they've loosened up on that. We don't need those old days. I got to throw this in here real quick. Did you see what Peterson's mom said about Max?
About Max who? Max Muncy?
No. Our Mad Max, our former Mad Max. Your boy
Scherzer.
Yes.
No, I didn't see.
She said something about how how she couldn't see him on this year's team just because the way that he was. She's like, I don't see him, dancing to OMG with everybody, after a game or something like that. Yeah, 100%.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
He's one of those guys that it's like, listen, when he's performing, great. As soon as he's not, he's kind of a dick to have around.
Right. He's the kind of guy who would have been in the dugout now, and he'd have just been like a curmudgeon type, and he would have just brought the whole mood down because nobody would have wanted to tell him, "Hey, Max, lighten up," But everybody would have been feeling that way, and listen, come on, hey, listen, you know what? Just keep following Lindor and Mendoza, and we'll be as good as we're going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Mendoza, he's had a lot of big moments and some things that if you want to look at them alone in a vacuum, you could say, would I would have done this a little bit differently. But, when you look at the sum and where we're at, hey, we got a chance. We have a chance to get out here and win 2 baseball games. And then we find ourselves in the Fall Classic. Anything is possible. Obviously, you really hope that the bats are legitimately woken up. And we've seen the seesawness of this entire series with both teams from one game to another. What can happen where a pitcher can be dominant one game and then today they throw out the exact same pitcher, that Flaherty, who dominated us before, and we get out there and we knock him out. He only pitches 3 innings. He gives up 8 hits, 8 earned runs, 4 walks. We've obviously figured him out. We just hope that Mania can match what he did in his previous start, and hopefully, like you said, the bats can get us out in front. Because once we get out in front against this team, I think that we really they don't give me those comeback vibes. You know what I mean? Like that's not something I feel like their front running team and all their almost. I feel like they're the type of team where as the if we get out in front and now they start to feel like shit, we have all of this pressure. We need to, we have all, we're the team that everybody is expecting. And, now this is all going bad again. I feel like if we can put it to them early, we'll start to, make the walls close in on them a little bit.
No doubt about it. They'll be thinking about last year with the D-backs and what happened then. And yeah, they'll be stressing out, no doubt. But, we got to get out in front. I mean, that's easier said than done, obviously. So I think we have to be smart. Got to get out in front. Got to make smart plays in the field. None of these, foolish plays in the field. That play by Marte, I mean, that was
that play by Marte. Like, what are you doing,
That
dude?
was terrible. Well, listen, though, but I'm going to go back to the last game. The play by Alvarez early in the last game.
Yep.
What are you
Where
doing?
there's no way you're throwing that guy out. It's just not, and it
No
has
way.
to be so perfect for you to execute it.
You're not
Just
throwing him
get
out.
the out right there.
Oh,
Just
my
get
gosh.
the out at
Oh, my
first.
God.
I know I
Brutal.
hated that play by him, and
Brutal.
I've hated his approach to the plate. And all of a sudden, he
Right.
has figured it out. Dad,
And
the
that's-
other day when he came up with the bases loaded, and they were
Yeah.
talking about how he's swinging out of his shoes, and he threw the bat, what would have been into like the 30th row if they didn't have the net up. I
He
was
would have
like,
killed somebody if there wasn't a net. Somebody
can
would
we
have
get
died.
can we get a better illustration of the fact that you need to fucking shorten up a little bit?
Calm down.
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. You're not the mighty Casey. Let's take it easy.
Right.
It just,
But he
it's
has
very
shortened up.
frustrating at
We've
times.
seen him shorten up. He shortened up,
in
and
the
now
past, but he doesn't seem.
No, I'm
able
talking
to,
about. I'm talking about at the end of last game and this game today. He has shortened up. He's he got 3 hits today.
I know he got hits, but he was still swinging hard. He just made contact. That's the whole thing with him. If he made contact, it looks great.
He drove. I thought his swing looked a little bit more level today. I thought there wasn't as much uppercut in it. He's going to swing hard, and that's fine. But he had been uppercutting everything, and it's just like pop-ups to the infield. Obviously, today he was able to square up a couple. He went 3 for 4. He had a run. He had a ribby.
Listen,
hopefully
he played very well today.
If he can get hot, Marte had a day.
It was amazing today.
He starts off the game. He starts off the game with that stupid ball that goes off of his glove. And then, he comes out and he has a fantastic day at the plate. I mean, he was in the middle of everything. He's 4 or 5. He ends up having 3 RBIs. He's now up to 310 for this series as far as his average. And, with Vientos, he's been our most consistent hitter. He's 0 for 5 today. Lindor goes 2 for 4. He's got that, the big double. And Pete did a lot of running on the bases today. He had a lot of running on the bases today. And obviously that home run in the beginning, and that was a big departure from what we've seen from him typically throughout this season. And throughout this playoffs, where he's, looking in one particular zone and basically just trying to poke everything, over the right field wall. Pete, that looked like old school Pete right there, where, listen, you can get it low, but if it's not low enough and I barrel that thing up, it's going to fly.
Right. Oh yeah, no, he got a nice contact with that. That was a hell of a home run. Very exciting. The one thing I did want to bring up though, at this point, Nick, you said, there may have been some times when you say this or that about Mendy. At this point now, I don't want to hear that from nobody. Okay, stop. I don't agree. Some people saying like, oh well, why is this guy still in the game? Why is that? Stop. Okay, because if anyone else had to make all these decisions, it would not go as well. The man is an excellent manager, at least this year, has pushed the right buttons 9 times out of 10. I don't need to hear anyone else second-guessing this guy. Because
I think both things can be true. Both things can be true.
You could second-guess them, Nick, and that's fine. People do that in baseball. But guess what? People need to realize when they're second-guessing them, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about, and you don't know better than him. No, I don't think any of us know better than him. We can have differing opinions, but it's like, it's all so second-handed, Nick, because people always say, oh, well, I was saying that. Why don't you take him out of the game before that? Well, there's just so many other things at play. The numbers game, he's trying to win today, not tomorrow. It's just, I think that there's so many moving pieces that we don't know about. This guy knows what the hell he's doing. Okay, at least this year. He knows what he's doing. But, of course, people will still keep questioning him because that's what people do to baseball managers. But I think it's stupid sometimes. Get over yourself. You don't know better than Mendy.
I think that he obviously is. I think he's been a fantastic manager. I think, like you said, 9 out of 10 times he makes the wrong call. I don't think that. I'm sorry, makes the right call. I don't think that absolves him from when he makes a call that I disagree with. Listen, there's times when, and I admit it, when he makes a call that I disagree with that works out correctly, and he was right when he left Diaz in against the Braves. But there's also times where he does shit where I'm like, I don't agree with that. I didn't agree with starting Senga. I didn't agree with starting Senga in the game against Philly. I didn't agree with starting Senga again against the Dodgers. Me personally, that's how I felt. And, so then when that happens, I'm going to say I didn't agree with it. That doesn't mean that I'm saying that he sucks as a manager overall. And I know more than him. I'm just saying that I didn't agree with that particular thing. And that maybe that time I was right.
What I'm saying, Nick, is that the reality is, if every time we thought we disagreed with Singer, we said something or wrote it down, you know how many times we would look back at that and say, "Oh shit, I was wrong." We don't do that. We
We
only bring it
do.
up
I
on
do that. I just
occasion.
did it. I just did
You
that with the
just did it,
Braves.
Nick. But I'm telling you, there are many other times where we as fans think that in our heads, and we don't say anything or don't think about it. And if it doesn't work out the way we thought, then we never bring it up again.
Nah, I don't. I'm not
I
me
just
personally. I can't speak for anybody
okay.
else, but like I definitely listen. When there's times where I'm like I
All
disagree
right.
with him and I'm wrong, and there's times where I'm wrong and I say I was wrong. Look, listen, like I mean I brought that up. I brought that up last pod. I brought that up this pod. Like the whole thing with how he did it at the end of that game. I made it. I tweeted about it. Like, as far as like I thought that it wasn't even just the leaving in it wasn't even just leaving in Diaz. There was another thing that he did in those that game with the Braves where I was like, what are we doing right now? And he was right. It goes both ways. I just think you got to be fair and try to acknowledge it. But my whole thing is like I'm never going to just say, okay, now because I think this guy overall is good, that I agree with everything he does. What's the point of watching it?
I've never said you have to agree with it. What I do, Nick, is there's sometimes when I think, oh man, why is he doing this? But you know what I think after that, Nick? Well, he knows a hell of a lot better than I do. He knows this 1,000 times better than I do. I'm going to trust his judgment because I don't know what I'm looking at compared to what he's looking at. He knows it. I mean, it's like I'm looking at an operation of open heart surgery, and I'm a layman. I'm not a doctor.
I think that in everything we always criticize
always
people
gonna opine.
we always criticize people who have more expertise than we do because of it, especially if it's something that we're especially if it's something that we feel like we have a strong opinion about. I don't think anything.
I get it why people criticize and stuff like that because that's what people do. I just think it's stupid sometimes.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. I think it's part of the fun of watching sports. I think if we just take that away, I mean, I think that's a big part of it is the whole like, what would I do in this situation? What do I think in this situation? The back and forth that we talk about it. Shit, we've been doing it for the last 10 minutes. I think that's, I don't know. There'd be no talk radio if people just, said that well, this guy knows more than me, so
not every
I don't have
so
I can't have an
because
opinion.
most managers I wouldn't trust like this. There's not been any other manager for the Mets in recent history who I feel this way about.
You don't think that everybody who's been a manager for an MLB team knows a million times more about baseball?
No, but nobody has made me have as much faith in them recently as I feel in Mendy.
Loved you some Buck.
I like Buck, but Buck I didn't feel this kind. Buck I didn't feel like had this kind of connection with the team and what's happening. And I didn't see these kind of results.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Buck didn't have this type of connection with you.
No, Buck don't know me. I don't know Buck.
But I almost kind of feel like I know Mendy a little bit. I don't know why. But
Mendy don't know you.
I don't know. I think there's a chance Mendy watches the show. There's a couple times I feel like, some of his moves have been influenced by my takes. But yeah, man, look, we go into this game 6. We got our guy Minaya on the hill. Offense, do your thing. Who is the starting pitcher in game 7 is the question. And I mean, it's lined up for one particular guy. And I know that this guy makes you very, very nervous. So what do you think about the possibility of Severino being the starter in game 7?
If you start Sevy, you know you have to score 5 runs because Sevy's given up 4. Sevy's giving up 4 runs. I mean, it's going to happen.
I think 6 and 3 is what I typically expect from him. I know last game, obviously, he wasn't able to do that. I think his ERA is
literally, if I remember, 3.79. But I always feel like he's going to give up 4 runs. Whatever.
Okay.
He, hopefully we can score more than that. Against these guys, Nick, listen, the one thing we know about these guys is Quintana can't pitch against them ever again.
Mm-mm. He nibbles too much.
Nibbles too much,
and you knew that going into the game. Right. And then once you saw how that blue was calling that game, it was like, oh, we're fucked. We're fucked.
And listen, like the Smoltz said, these guys they're very listen. We're playing against the best of the best now. Okay, we're one of the last 4 teams in the game, so these guys know what they're doing, and they don't fall for that.
They don't fish.
They don't fish, and he's all about 2 inches here, 4 inches there. No, I'm not doing that, man. They're really good at staying focused, and that doesn't work with him. And it's not like he's throwing anything up there that's blazing by you that's just, like, wow. Because a couple of these relievers today, Reed Garrett and Stanek, even Reed Garrett, who shit the bed, and Stanek You know, these guys don't even look like they're throwing that hard. They don't look like they're throwing harder than Quintana, and they're throwing 97.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Quintana's like 88. You know,
No,
maybe
90, 91.
Is he 90, 91?
His fastball's
His balls
90,
just
91.
look
The
so
cutter will
soft.
be like 80, 89. But listen, man, I think that Quintana has done a lot for us all season. He's been great these last couple months, all that. But like you said, he cannot start again against this Dodgers team. No way.
When you're playing
no
against
how.
a regular average team, he's a great pitcher, Nick.
I mean, listen,
and
he shut down the Phillies. The Phillies are really one of the better teams in baseball all year.
For whatever reason, this team, I don't think he's the guy with
they
this
just don't
team.
fish. They specifically do not go. They do not go out of the zone, and that is his entire game. Smoltz talked about it. You know, he said at the beginning this was going to be a tough one for him, and it's going to be about, you know, first of all the blue, and the blue showed in like the first inning that he had a tight zone, and it was like, oh man, it is going to be a tough one. I like Smoltz. Smoltz does a good job, I think.
I think Smoltz does a good job. He's a little annoying because, you know, he's a former
Brave,
but
I think he does a good job. He gives good analysis. I like his breakdown of, like, you know, hey, I would throw this here. Like he has
he's a pitching savant. I mean, you know, the way he explains the whole pitching stuff is very good.
Very good.
You know, I'm always annoyed of anybody, especially if the Mets are losing, if it's not Gary and Keith. But you know, I mean, he's pretty good.
They're way better than ESPN. Way better than ESPN.
Yeah.
I'll take the Fox broadcast. The Fox broadcast is better in every single way. The only issue that I have with the Fox broadcast is they cut back to the action too late sometimes. Sometimes like they'll be showing something else, and when they cut back, it's like the pitcher's like all the way in his windup and delivering the pitch. It's like, yo, chill. Like, can we at least get this guy when he sets? I think they do that.
And the Fox broadcast, the studio is A-Rod,
Poppy and Jeter.
Poppy and Jeter, right?
Mm-hmm.
A-Rod, my man, Corinthian leather.
Yo, my cat is spray tanning on
he's Joe Bronzer. He's Joe Bronzer.
Yo, him and then Poppy sometimes with his hair. What exactly is he? I don't know what he's doing.
Poppy got the conch.
He got that conch, that hot comb. He got something more hot comb. And
back in the day.
Jeter tried his best to hate on the Mets as much as he could, and then he finally got to the point where he couldn't anymore. He couldn't. Yeah. He had to go ahead and give us his props. But you know, he was definitely hating for a while. He's always picking the Phillies. We said we were going to lose that series 3-1, I think.
Yeah. But you know, hey, you had to recognize and whatnot. You know, Jeter. You know, I never have a huge love for Jeter because of his Yankeedom, but I just respected Jeter's game, man. He's always, you know, not just the way he played the game, but his game. You know, the way he carried himself. You can't find fault with that.
No, I'm with you on that with Jeter. Jeter definitely, you know, not a great shortstop, but he was super clutch, and was a very good contact hitter throughout his entire career. And the whole clutch part is, you know, he's in baseball, in my lifetime, he's as good as it gets, you know, as far as just, you know, big moments and whatnot, even down to, you know, his last game. Now we got, you know, our bullpen should be rested. Diaz looked as good as he has all postseason, maybe all season.
Yes.
He looked fantastic today. I mean, just blew everybody away. 6 outs, quick work. You know, I think he only got to like 1, 3, and 2
why
count.
are you going with Diaz for 6 outs? But
got to keep him. You
got to keep him warm.
Yeah. Especially with a day off tomorrow. Diaz has shown that always that he pitches. He's better when he's getting work. He needs work. He needs work, and you just need to get him tight. I think that if the Mets are going to win, he's definitely going to at least play a big role in one of the 2 games, if not both of them. And you know, he's been he's gotten it done in this series. He's gotten it done overall in this series, and now I cannot wait for this game coming up on Sunday. It's just going to be very, very interesting to see how it starts. And I just really hope that we get out in front. We don't let this fucking stupid guy Ohtani do no dumb shit. Mania friggin'
so dangerous.
He's so dangerous. He makes me I'm so happy when he comes up and nobody's on. I'm so happy when he comes up and nobody's on. Yes. And we know the numbers. He's been
outrageous.
Yeah, outrageous with men on base. And he's been, you know, not so great with nobody on, though he did hit a solo shot against us with nobody on. And Winker needs to be the DH. Okay. I don't want to see JT.
No. That's been solved. I mean, This guy Martinez, I mean, they gave him a shot yesterday and all that. He drew a walk or two, I believe.
I don't give a
But
fuck.
no.
He
can't
looks
see the
so
field
lost. He cannot lay off that that breaking
he
ball
can't,
off the plate.
Honestly, Nick, I don't think he sees the field again this postseason.
Right.
Winker's just the guy,
Winker, I know the energy that he brings, and I mean,
Yeah,
he can barrel up a ball and either put it into the upper deck or at least rip a ball off of the wall, man. Like, come on, man, JD,
definitely.
you can be a hitting coach, JD. All right.
Yeah, JD's not the guy. No.
Nah, it's not time for him. What'd you think about Squirrel getting the second base?
I like getting him in there. I mean, I did initially feel when he didn't he
make
missed
that play.
The ball in the first
Iglesias would have made that play.
Right, Iglesias would have made that play. But listen, man. You see, this is why I'm saying with Mendy. Mendy knows I got to get this guy back in there because I might need this guy. I need this guy to play. So if I need him in game 6 or 7, I might need him. So,
yeah, I see. I don't think he's thinking that. I think
he thinks that the guy could play. The guy
he's just trying to win the day. At this point, you're just trying to win the day. And he's like, listen, Iglesias ain't really doing much. No. We're facing the righty.
But Iglesias did come up yesterday.
Iglesias,
Iglesias.
Iglesias has had a couple good, at bats, but overall,
so now who do you start Sunday?
Lost. I'm rolling with McNeil.
Really?
I'm rolling with McNeil.
I think I'd go back to Iglesias.
Nah, see, that's the thing. You
shouldn't have done it today if you're going to go back to it.
Yeah, you go with McNeil today. And
Iglesias looked almost a little gimpy, too.
He looked a little gimpy, Dad, and he's just been, he doesn't look like himself at the plate, the guy that I've seen all season at all. He's way out in front on the breaking ball, way too over-aggressive early in the count. He does not look like himself. And it's not like McNeil's a terrible fielder. He's not the fielder that Iglesias is, but it's not like he's a terrible fielder. He's a good second baseman. He's a better than average second baseman. That's a fact. Metric-wise, eye test, everything. Iglesias is otherworldly, no doubt. But when it comes to the bat, especially with what the end of our lineup has been looking like these last few games, now I'm sorry, but that same lineup after tonight, that same lineup has to be the starting lineup on Sunday. You can't get away from that now.
Yeah, you got to stick with it. Yeah, you got to stick with it. Same
fucking put up 12 runs, man. You put up 12 runs. You can't get away from that. You got to let these guys rock. So I think that we're definitely going to see that lineup again. We should for sure. And man, this game. It really comes down to, like we've said multiple times, the hot start. And then Manaea. Can Manaea go out there and continue to write his lore? I mean, he's been fantastic for us in the playoffs. He's had some huge starts, and he's got another opportunity to really, add to that. And if we can get to the next round, he can continue to do that. And the lefty, he does well against the Yankees as well. It's going to be interesting to me also. Like, the Dodgers crowd has seemed a little bit weak as compared to the City Field.
I heard one of the games wasn't sold out. And by the way,
but it was a day game. It was a day game on a Monday where it was, indigenous people or Columbus Day, depending on, how you like to call it. But I saw pictures of, lots of seats that were, not occupied. And you would think that they would be pretty rabid, and they're supposed to be a very rabid fan base overall.
Well, I spoke to somebody, a friend of mine who is at work, who's a Dodger fan, and he spoke to some friends just finding out what tickets would cost to go out to one of these games, and he said down on field level tickets were going for like $6,000. Upper deck was going for like $2,500. I have a hard time believing that.
Wow,
I might be a little rich, but yeah, that's pretty pricey.
Yeah, though that can't be real. That can't be real. It costs more than Citi Field. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the tickets were at Citi Field.
I know. Citi Field. The Citi Field. The numbers aren't quite like that, and Citi Field is packed, and they are rocking. That shit comes through through the TV. You can feel it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they needed that so big. They needed that from Pete.
Well, and listen, you don't want them celebrating on your field, and if nothing else, things don't go well Sunday. I think today was a big time self-respect game. It's a really good game for that, and. No matter what, we will revere this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had Matt Harvey throwing out the first pitch to Yoenis Cespedes today. Cespedes,
how did Cespedes look? I didn't see that.
He looked like Cespedes. He looked like himself.
He wasn't fat.
No, he's not he hasn't blown up. He looked like himself.
What about Harvey?
And Harvey looks like himself. You haven't seen Harvey recently. He's done he's been on SNY. Harvey looks Harvey looks good. Harvey looks like he's cleaned up his act, obviously. He dresses very sharply when he's on SNY. He's always, dressed to the nines. And he's cleaned himself up, man. I'll tell you, I don't know if I've ever told you off air, but I know some people who were in the city around the same time as Harvey, and have some stories about him. But we'll leave that for a private conversation, not for the airways. But yeah, man, this Mets team, like you said, they have given us a lot to cheer for. We asked for, we how many times this season did we say just give us, games that matter in September? And now we're, getting into late October and we still got games that matter. So
that's right.
Go out, win one more, and then go out and win one more. That's all you got to do. You just got to keep going out there and winning the day. What's going on in this Yankees game? Let me turn that on.
One game at a time. What a finish last night, huh?
What, in the Yankee game?
The other night. Yeah.
Oh, with your boy, Noel.
Noel, big Christmas.
Big Christmas. That was a bomb.
Like, no one ever called me Big Christmas. What's up with that?
Yo, what's up with that? How have we not called you?
That's because it's his last name. It just makes sense. I don't know. But
yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think you need to surround yourself with better friends. Nobody ever came up with that for you. No, but the Yankees are up 6-5 right now, top of the 8th. Yankees, they do not want this to go 2-2, especially right now with them being up 6-5, top of the 8th. It would mean that there would be more late dramatic shit. And you can't, you don't want that thing to get rolling like that. And all of a sudden, I had some Yankee fans talking shit the other day, talking about how like, oh, we're taking care of it. You guys aren't, pulling on your end of the bargain. And it's like, okay, all right, well, don't get out in front of your skis there, Yankee fans. And I would like, I'm not saying I'm rooting for the Yankees, but I would like to see them move on, because to me, as a Mets fan, if you could overcome the Braves to get in the playoffs, beat the Phillies in the playoffs, then beat the Dodgers, and then beat the Yankees, nobody would be able to. I would be like letting people over in traffic. I'd be in the left lane with somebody doing like below the speed limit and be like, oh, it's no big deal. We'll get there when we get there. I would be the no one could ever like make me angry again if that were to happen. If we were to have that run leading to a World Series.
It would be nice. And honestly, I don't know. If we make it to the World Series, would I feel more confident against the Yankees than against Cleveland? No. But Cleveland is a bit of an unknown for me, to be honest. I don't know anything about them. The Yankees, we've played a few times this year, and I think we've played well against them, so I'm ready to go against the Yankees. But clearly, we've got a lot of work to do before we even think about that.
We swept the Yankees 4-0, and I think I'm scarred from playing against the Royals a couple years ago. I don't like that scrappy, we get contact team. Fuck that. No. Give me the Yankees, where all they want to do is hit home runs, and hopefully we can make them look silly. No, I don't like that at all. That would make me very nervous. I don't want to play Cleveland. And I want, I'm never somebody who's like, give me the easy task. Like you always said, when we talked about the Knicks back in the day, we didn't just want to, do it when Jordan wasn't there. We wanted to beat Jordan, I want that from this team too. I would love to just get the supremacy in the city, but let's just worry about game 6 and get game 6. And then we can move on to Sunday night. The Jets will have a new toy after their loss last week to Buffalo. They, that night, it seems, got the finalization of the trade that's been talked about for over a year. Davante Adams is now a New York Jet. Aaron Rodgers gets his favorite toy. And we had that very, very tough loss, which, we got to touch on it a little bit. Same old fucking Jets, same shit that we saw under Saleh. 11 penalties for 110 yards, huge miscues. The defense just gets absolutely they just run it straight down our throats for the first drive. There's only one pass from Josh Allen, and the lack of discipline, everything from Tyron Smith having a horrible game, that stupid hold that was called against him. I didn't listen, that was a hold, but I've heard a lot of people that used to play in the NFL that say that, quite often the refs, when they realize that it's not going to really affect the play like that, don't call that right there, but it was a hold. And I thought a couple of the pass interferences against DJ Reed were not good calls. And the thing that probably angered me most of the entire game was Clemens. Clemens on the play where everybody in the world knows that Josh Allen is going to run this ball. They're not going to throw the ball. It's going to be Josh Allen. The one thing that you have to do is you have to contain and not let him get outside of you. I talked to my 8-year-olds in flag football about this, and some of them are able to grasp and execute the concept better than Clemens was. The guy is... I've said so many times, his best part of the season is walking into training camp.
Yeah, that was very disappointing. A lot of disappointment to go around. I mean, like you said, they're still making the same mistakes. I didn't think that firing was a good idea. I didn't think that the firing would make a big difference. If anything, I thought it would light a fire maybe under guys to make them be a little bit more on their P's and Q's. That didn't seem to happen. I mean, okay, look, I'm glad we got Davante Adams. I think that can be good for us. But the fact of the matter is, Nick, like I always tell you, I don't care what the receiver does. If this guy don't block, it don't matter because Aaron Rodgers is going to be flat on his back. Okay? So we got to do what we got to do before Davante Adams ever going to see the ball. Now, it should help us if we can maintain up front. It should help us. And then, by osmosis, also help the running game and everything. But we have to be a much more disciplined team, man. We're making too many stupid penalties. I'm not getting into at all talking about the refs made this bad call and that, because I saw some bad calls that they missed the other way.
100%.
What's
100%.
his name? I mean, Sauce has had his worst season so far, and I've told you this since he was a rookie, Nick. The guy's incredibly handsy. It didn't pop up this past week, but the week before it did. He's incredibly handsy, Nick, and is allowed to get away with it quite often. So when they do call it on him, I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm just surprised they didn't call it much more. But, all of that said, Nick, we're 2-4 right now. If we figure it out, I mean, we have winnable games coming up. This game Sunday is huge. If we lose this game Sunday, we're doomed. If we win this game Sunday and go on a run, Nick, we win 7 of the next 11 games, we could have a shot at being in the playoffs, but we're probably going to need at least 10 wins to be in the playoffs.
Sure. Probably going to need 10. The division is still winnable. Okay. I don't think Buffalo is just, running away with this thing. We are basically 2 games behind them now. So we do have some ground to make up. Obviously we're going to play them one more time. That game's going to be in Buffalo. And
let's remember, Nick, they kind of took it to us that game. That game was not nearly as close as a score. Let's realize, Nick, one of our scores was on a Hail Mary, Nick.
I understand that, but they scored 3 points in the second half, Dan.
I'm not, I mean, listen, Nick, that it was a Hail Mary. I mean, that's a roll of the dice at best.
Yeah,
we're lucky we got those 7 points. So think about it. They beat us 23 to what? 13?
Who, Buffalo? Buffalo won by 3.
I understand that, Nick. But if you take away that Hail Mary, we lost by 10.
We don't take it away.
I know we can't take it away, Nick. My point is that
we also went 1 of 4.
They played a better game against us than the score would.
I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like they dominated us. And I thought that, if we are better in the red zone and we punch it in, we go 1 of 4 in the red zone. And then, obviously Greg Zuerlein, I mean, he's lost us 2 games this season. If Greg Zuerlein is better, we're 4-2 instead of 2-4 right now. And, he had 2 very makeable kicks. I understand it's windy. You're a kicker that plays in Giant Stadium. You have to be better. I got a stat for Greg Zuerlein right here. He's last in the NFL in field goal percentage. He's made 2 out of 3, 8 of 12, 66.7%. Last season, Zuerlein was 9th in the league with a 92.1% percentage. And Commanders kicker Austin Siebert, who we cut in the preseason, he's now 9th in the league with a 93.8%. And he's 15 of 16.
Yeah, no, he's got to pick it up, man. Hey, let's call it like it is too, Nick. Aaron Rodgers needs to play better. Okay?
Aaron Rodgers needs to play better. I thought Aaron Rodgers played well against Buffalo. I thought the game before that, obviously, he didn't play so well. I thought he played pretty well against Buffalo. And honestly, especially considering the some of the heat that he was under. And I think really, to me, that's the biggest thing that needs to be better is the offensive line. The offensive line needs to be better. He's not going to last the full season if he keeps getting hit as much as he is. 100%. I agree with you there. And I think that Davante is going to help with that because Davante is going to make some of those quick reads that clearly Mike Williams and even Garrett to an extent are still not making. They're still not making some of these quick reads. And we saw it on that last play with Mike Williams. I'm sorry, but I don't understand the whole like running it on the red line thing. And that's something, again, when I'm talking to 8-9-year-olds, I'm explaining to them, you have to be in this particular space where you have room to be able to still get outside. Like the quarterback can throw you a ball outside. And also, like, it's just where the quarterback is expecting you to be. And he doesn't do that correctly. And then he also falls to the ground. And, this guy makes a great pick and the game is over. I did hear today that him and Rodgers have gotten together and had like a personal conversation, and they're trying to smooth it out or whatever. But those mistakes, those small little mistakes like that, are what have killed this Jets team for, it seems like, years, but especially this season.
Well, Nick, I mean, it comes down to the same thing. It's football, man. I mean, again, 10 people on the team do the right thing. One guy doesn't. Plays over. Plays over. Okay, so that's why it's the ultimate team sport. You cannot, if there's no one-on-one, okay, if the other 10 guys don't do it, you're done. And especially on offense, you're really playing 10 against 11, right? Especially with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, who's really not that much of a threat to run.
Sure.
So it's 10 against 11. That's why somebody like Lamar is such a big deal, because then it's 11 on 11. But, everybody's got to do their job. And we keep doing things where everybody does it right. That the play with Tyron Smith at the goal line is a perfect example.
Perfect example. One guy fucks
everybody
up the whole
did
thing.
Everything right.
And then
nobody touched the kid.
And also Lazard not lining up correctly took away a huge play for us. And then you had the other play where the play design is perfect, and your boy Tyron Smith just totally whiffs on the safety, and so that guy blows Brees up. And it's like, dude, like, come on. And I got it, Todd Downing. I liked the play calling better. It wasn't just that we were executing it; we seemed less vanilla. Real quick, hey, if you're watching right now, I know we got some people that are viewing right now. Throw a comment in the chat. I ain't seen no comments. Come on, give us something. Let me make sure this thing is still working. If you're watching right now, throw a comment in the chat. But yeah, man, I think that if you look at some of the overall play calling and just the overall flow and some of the misdirection and like that instead of like the long developing sweep outside, that kind of just like little shovel that Aaron Rodgers was doing, that's something I haven't seen from us so far this season. Obviously, Brees Hall had by far his biggest game of the season so far. I thought the play calling was better under Todd Downing than it has been under Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, it looked better, Nick, but
it just looked like more deception, and it looked like more deception. And I thought that there was more times where the ball was getting thrown to somebody down the field, 10, 15 yards down the field, that was open. That wasn't like, where it had to be just where somebody had seemed has been schemed open a little bit more. And clearly, as far as the running game, something that we were doing was different and was better. I don't know exactly what, but the running game looked way better. And I don't know if that's just execution or if some of that is just a little, like I said, a little bit more deception.
I think it's more execution than anything. I think we were making blocks. We were actually getting in people's way, and that means a big difference, as opposed to escorting people to the ball carrier. I think he called a good game. I do. But that second game when Aaron Rodgers looked great, I thought Hackett called a great game there. We played a good game.
Yeah, but we also played against the Patriots, and we've seen now that they suck.
But my point is that we played a good game. If we play a good game, you know what? Everybody's going to say, hey, that offensive coordinator, he's pretty good. But when we play a shitty game and we can't friggin' block anybody and people are jumping into the backfield to greet our ball carriers, everybody's going to say, oh, the offensive coordinator sucks. I mean, both things can be true. More than anything, though, when guys don't execute. If guys executed, like I always say, Nick, in football, in reality, if the other team knows what we're going to do and I can still overpower my man and the other 10 guys on my team could do the same, it doesn't matter if they know. Because I can dominate my man and he can dominate his man. But
I feel like the league is getting away. I don't think that you can do that as much in today's league.
It's not foolproof, Nick. I think you do better than the Jets have been doing.
Sure.
We had 10 guys who could dominate, not when we have 8 guys who can dominate.
No doubt. And listen, the players are going to either make a coordinator look better or worse by how they go out and they execute their plan.
And he
But
does
then
make a difference.
it's up to that coordinator to, make sure that he teaches these guys and gets them to execute that plan. And I think fundamentally, we haven't looked great as far as just like our blocking and things like that, like especially the tight ends and shit. Fundamentally, we haven't looked great. And I don't know if that's, the offensive line coach. I don't know if that's the offensive coordinator.
That's my issue.
Whoever the fuck it is, listen, if at the end of the day, we just got the example. We know that it always ends up funneling up to the head coach. And if the other guys aren't getting it done and doing what they're supposed to do, the head coach is going to want to be the one who's out. And, Saleh now, he's out. And to me, I didn't love the move either, but I understood it. And I think that one of the biggest reasons is because we wanted to get a full look at Ulbrich, because I think he's going to be a head coaching candidate. And we think we might have a good guy in the building already. But with the rumors being that he wanted to get rid, or at least wanted to demote Hackett, it's almost like, damn, like you couldn't, let him execute that as the head coach like he wanted to, and then see where we go from there. It's a tough one.
Listen, and the deal is, Nick, I mean, Belichick said the same thing. Yeah, the offense hasn't been good the last few years. He's had the worst quarterback play, all that, blah, blah, blah. But also, too, let's realize that when he came here, the Jets were 32nd in defense. The Jets are top 5 in defense every year now, or at least top 10. But, they're up there, and it's because we have a culture now, and that's Rob Saleh who made that happen, okay? No, nobody can't say nothing else. That's him who made that happen. Now, can Ulbrich keep it up and keep that level there? I hope so. He's been a defensive coordinator, but I know a lot of those guys on that defense feel like they played for Rob Saleh, or did feel like that, So, you hope that they can do it, and then, you just hope that the offense, like I said, Nick, the offensive line play last year was terrible. And for us to start out this way this year tells me that the offensive line coach isn't that good. And
last year we were devoid of talent.
We're devoid of talent, Nick, but it wasn't just that. It wasn't just talent. Our technique sucked. Okay, there was
but some of those guys, the reason that they're not that good is because their technique isn't that good.
I know.
No matter who they play for.
But Nick, it wasn't. We just did not play together at all as a cohesive unit. And it wasn't just that our talent wasn't that great, because there were other teams that had subpar talent too that played better as a unit. We did not play very well as a unit because, we're just not coached up to do that. And, part of us, jumping off sides and doing that silly shit, I'm sorry, that's coaching too. Everybody blames Saleh for that. But yeah, you can blame Saleh all you want, but Saleh is not the guy, I think, getting on the offensive linemen when they jump off sides in practice.
But that part,
he should be.
That part. Listen, yeah, he might not be, but if, like you said, he fucking should be. Okay, so the whole he runs the defense. You're the head coach. You're the head coach,
or he should be on that coach, that offensive line coach of his 100%. Ass.
And if he ain't getting the job done, then get him out. That's the thing that bothers me the most, is that he's seen that it's the reports are that he wanted to do that with Hackett. Right. And listen, we know that he wanted to replace Hackett in the offseason.
That's right.
And that he didn't think this was the guy. And no one dislikes Nathaniel Hackett more than me. So I think
it was just Woody. Like I said, Woody was never really tied to this guy Saleh. He had, he's a little annoyed, just like a lot of fans are. Like, they don't like the guy for whatever reason. They don't like him because we haven't been winning. I mean, that's it, right?
I think everybody. I hear everybody say he's a great guy, but
right. But we haven't been winning, so Woody doesn't have to tie to him because he didn't hire him and whatnot, and he's just like, look, I'm tired of this. And while I think it was a stupid knee-jerk reaction, if I was the billionaire who owned the team, there'd be some times where you'd have to put me in a straitjacket so I wouldn't make it some stupid knee-jerk move, because I can. Right. There it is.
It's one of those things where I don't love it. I didn't love it in the moment. I don't love it looking back on it, but I also understand it. You know what I mean? Both things can be true. So now, we go up against the Steelers in Sunday Night Football. I almost just wish that we were just playing like a 1:00 game. Like I don't even want to be like the. I'm tired of being like freaking having all the eyeballs on us sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, shit, can we just play a game, in a normal window? We so many primetime games, and right now, It's going to be interesting. Would you rather see Wilson or Fields? I know that it came out today that Pickett said that it's going to be Wilson, which it seems like they were trying to keep under wraps so that we had to prepare for both. Which one are you more scared to see?
I'd rather see Wilson simply because
Me
I'm hoping
too.
he's a little rusty,
And I
and
don't want to see that
Fields
running
can run
shit.
too much.
That it's the most frustrating thing in football when you
Oh yeah.
you're about to get a stop and now all of a sudden this guy goes and runs for a first down.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
much rather see your boy Russell Wilson let's ride
Right.
than I would see Fields. And I think Fields has played pretty well,
I do
and
too.
but I'm so nervous about friggin' this defense getting after Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this guy
Dude,
Watt is going to be friggin' in our backfield.
You can't have any play where you don't have. I saw a play last week. I was watching the Steelers game where Watt just charged the quarterback unblocked and smashed him, and there can never be a play like that, or else Aaron Rodgers ain't gonna get up.
Right.
Because this guy is bringing it every time, man. He's the best player in football. He's gonna end up being better than his brother, which is a lot to say.
Right.
I think.
Right.
He's that guy, man. Okay.
He's so good.
He's
so good.
Really
he gets dinged up a little bit.
Game.
That's the only thing that you could, negative on him.
You got to be chipping him all game, man. And we got to go. We got to be ready to play defense against the long ball because that's Russell Wilson's deal. He can throw a good long ball, and man, we have to be able to do some quick passing against them. I read something where they're not very good at defending the quick pass.
So Aaron Rodgers this year is, getting the ball out quicker than any other quarterback in football. So that definitely should play to our advantage. And then, it's going to be interesting to see how this whole Davante Adams things happen. Does this open it up more for Jared? Does Mike Williams even ever see the field? And then, does Rodgers all of a sudden unlocked and everything looks great now? And it's like, hey,
I don't think that's going to happen.
I think it's going to make a big difference.
But it's not like the clouds are going to part and it's going to be.
But we're not that far away. I mean, he had 294 yards last week. We're not that far away. So just the slightest bit of elevation when it comes to this offense, and all of a sudden we could be doing something. But I'm nervous about the defense, man. Hey, this letting people just run down our throat is seriously a problem. And I saw this floated earlier that the Panthers look like they're just, in sell mode. They're 1-5. They got the whole, quarterback situation. They got, the red rifle in there instead of, your boy Bryce Young, which I saw something the other day with him. Dad, he's not even 5'10". That guy's 5'8". I'm sorry, man. You can't be no quarterback in the NFL and be 5'8". I would never. But there's how many Kyler Murrays is there? You know what I mean? I do not try to. I thought Zach Wilson was too small. I still think Zach Wilson's a little bit too small. I think you need to be 6'3", 6'2", 6'1" is even a little
Zach
bit.
Every show, show you got to send it in on Zach at least once every show. I mean, do you have that written down somewhere in front of you?
Yeah, I have a post-it. Just there, just make sure you dig. It just says dig Zach. But nah, man, I don't know. I listen. Of all people know that I did not agree with that pick before it was made, and we saw how it played out. But
you had your moments where you were talking about the Zach attack.
Oh no, there's definitely listen. I didn't agree when it was made, but I'm always going to get behind it. I'm always going to get once you put on the the gangrene. I'm going to get behind you. And he did have a couple times. He had 1 or 2 games where he looked like
gonna have a future.
No, he's
and end
not.
Up like your man.
No, he's not. He's behind Stidham. He's behind Stidham. He's not. He's got a rookie that's starting ahead of him, and he's behind Stidham. It's over for him. Well. You have an
just because I know it drives you crazy.
No, it's not just because of that.
Stop bringing the guy up.
No. It's not just because of that. Yeah. I got plenty of text messages. You love Zach Wilson. I
did like him a lot when he was with us, and I still think he's got a lot of God-given ability.
Yeah, you always talk about the arm talent.
He has to have the he has the arm talent. He just has to figure it out. And I think Sean Payton's the guy to teach him.
Okay. Well, Sean Payton's a douche, and Zach Wilson is I'm sorry, man. He's just not an NFL quarterback. That shit against Jesuit State University. That shit ain't flying here in the big leagues, kid. And
see, you use that, but come on. You're gonna tell me he played against so much worse competition than say Ben Roethlisberger did playing for Miami of Ohio, or
Ben
or
Ben
Josh
Roethlis Ben
or
I know
Josh Allen did playing
but
playing
all
for
the guys
Wyoming.
that you're talking about are big, strong guys. That's the thing. When
What do you mean?
you're
Miami of
Josh Allen,
Ohio.
Roethlisberger,
Oh yeah,
big, strong guys.
no, but
That
I'm saying that the
the competition,
competition they
right,
played
right.
against.
But that's okay. So this is my equation. Okay, first and foremost, when it comes to a quarterback, you got to be 6'3" plus. I mean, I'm saying you got to be at least 6 foot
Yeah,
three.
no,
Okay.
that helps.
Then when it comes to your highlights, I've said this before. Forgive me if you've heard me say it, but there has to be some guys with dreads halfway down their back in your highlights. If there's not, if you ain't playing against anybody from Texas or South Florida,
What I'm saying to you is these guys weren't playing against guys like
I'm
that.
saying, but okay, but when you have it's all the things. So if you're not big and strong, and you were playing against friggin' Jesuit State University, and I just don't think I'm not drafting that guy. I'm just not drafting that guy. I wouldn't draft any guy who's under 6'3", and I'm not drafting a guy who played
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield is an anomaly, and Baker Mayfield is on his fourth team.
Right, but so's your man Sammy D, and so's your man Geno Smith. And look, they're all having success now. Sometimes it takes longer for some people.
It does, and it especially takes longer for them if they get drafted by shitty organizations. And Baker Mayfield got drafted by the Browns, and those other two guys got drafted by the Jets. And we're not good at developing quarterbacks. We've never been able to show that we are. We've swung and missed on quite a few in my lifetime, and I'm talking about first round picks. So, and we've seen them go other places and be successful. Okay. Anyway, I digress. I don't like Zach Wilson. I never liked him, and I don't think he's ever going to play in the NFL a game. I don't think he's going to play in a game in the NFL ever again. I think he's going to be in the Arena League by next year.
I think he's taking up valuable space in your head.
Yeah, I don't know why you think he's going to be successful when he's behind Stidham on the depth chart. But as far as the Panthers, they seem to be tanking a little bit. I think we need to go to them and be like, give us Clowney. We got to go to them and say, give us Jadeveon Clowney.
Well,
Clowney is one of the best.
Hassan. We got Reddick. No, I'm just kidding.
Clowney's one of the best, setters of an edge in the NFL. He's fantastic at setting the edge and playing against the run, and he does give you something in the pass rush as well. And right now, I mean, we are just getting destroyed on the edge. All the PFF grades and everything, whether it be Will McDonald or Jefferson or whoever, they're all getting just, as you like to say, thrown out of the club. So I think that we got to go to them and say, hey, I mean, Clowney's not going to cost a ton. If we just got Davante for a second or a third, that could be a conditional second, then, we can definitely go and get Clowney for a mid-level pick or whatever. And we're not doing anything with our defensive line playing the way that it is. And your boy Quinnen is getting absolutely just keyed on and getting double teamed. He's still making decent plays. But if we're continuing to put our fate in the hands of, friggin' guys like Clemens, it's a problem, yo. We got to do something.
We need to be better inside, outside, a lot of different things. I have to say, whenever we use that line, getting thrown out the club, I always think of Jazzy Jeff on Fresh Prince when he gets thrown out the house. Exactly. But no, but it's pretty distressing, the way we've looked against the run. And you can believe that the Steelers are going to be running big time. This boy Najee Harris is looking good. They've got a couple of really good running backs back there. And, between blocking T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward, those guys are going to be a problem, man. I mean, a real problem. So we got to do some quick passes, get those guys thinking twice so that they can't just tee off, make them hesitate for that split half second so that they can't just run right into our backfield, because if not, we're finished.
Very important that we are able to establish the run game in this game. It's super, super important for sure. And then we will see what Aaron Rodgers looks like with his favorite receiver of all time. It's going to be interesting. Aaron, they're doing everything for you, brother. They're doing everything for you. I wish they could have built a slightly better offensive line for you. I'm hoping that those guys can, with some experience and playing together, can develop a little bit more cohesiveness, because I did hear somebody say that the Jets offensive line, they're all playing okay individually. They're playing terrible as a unit. And so I'm hoping that
and that's coaching.
you
You got to coach them up as a unit.
got to coach them up.
I don't
Got to coach them
understand
up.
why they're doing the same stupid bullshit next year. And this coaching guy, Keith Carter, is his name.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he does a very good job. I mean, I just don't feel like what are they practicing if they look so not together on Sundays? I don't understand that.
It is very, very hard to understand, and we shall see what happens on Sunday. Huge game. I feel like if you lose that game, then the playoffs, especially because they're a team that's probably going to be in the mix for the AFC wild card. If we lose this game, then it seems like a very, very uphill battle to get to the playoffs. We got to figure out a way to get this W.
Yes, exactly.
And the Jets are favored in this game as well.
Believe it or not.
I found that interesting. The Jets are favored in this game, and in Pittsburgh.
Wow,
I found that very interesting. I'm a little bit surprised.
Wilson, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Well, actually, now that it's been pretty much established that he's going to be the starter, I don't know if that's changed the line at all. I'm going to check it out right now. But let's talk a little Knicks. The season is upon us. The season is upon us. We wrapped up the preseason with a game tonight. We played against the Washington Wizards. We lost to the Wizards. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why there's no real good reason for this, but I'm almost kind of glad that we lost. I didn't want, for some reason, the Steelers. No, the Jets are, by the way, they're still a 1.5 point favorites against the Steelers, but the Knicks, I don't know, for some reason I didn't want them to finish the preseason undefeated. I just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't want. I don't.
That don't mean nothing to me.
I know. I knew you were going to say that, but
I wouldn't want to be 0-4. But yeah, I hear you. I mean, that's a little superstition creeping in. That last pass by Kolek was stupid. When he tried to inbound it, I was screaming at the TV.
But he played well. Okay, he played well. He had a couple huge buckets to almost snatch the victory down the stretch.
Right.
But that pass and the way that played out, that pissed me off, man, because how many times did I say last year that this offseason we better work on our inbounding? Remember how much of a bugaboo that was for us against the Pacers and even against the Sixers last year in the playoffs. We have to be more creative when it comes to inbounding the ball. It seems like our inbounding is just point guard, get the ball. Like, go, do something. We got to get more creative with that. We never, ever, set a screen for Brunson to be able to get him the ball without just somebody just all the fuck over him. And especially with them letting them play a little bit more physically. Can we set a screen? Can we do something ever to make the inbound a little bit easier? I don't understand that.
You would think. But Kolek tried something like hooking pass, like throwing it in this guy's belly from close range. And it was just it was a terrible idea, a terrible pass. And I was surprised from him because he's such a good passer. But, besides that, I thought they played pretty well. I love what I'm seeing from the young people, Hookpori and Dadier. Yeah, very good. Love seeing what I'm seeing from them. Even campaign, pretty good.
I got a prediction for you.
What's that?
Let's give it until December. Dadier is going to end up being our starting shooting guard.
No. Okay.
I'm telling you, he was getting the audition today, getting the minutes with these guys, and I think that
push Josh Hart back to the bench.
Josh Hart to the bench. Dadier is looking like he's going to be a legit shooter in the NBA. He's got legit size. He plays a little bit of defense, and I feel like if we still had DiVincenzo, I think that he would probably be the starting two. I think that another shooter right there is going to be better for us. And I think that Josh Hart is going to be better as a guy coming off the bench. I think he has a chance to win sixth man of the year if he comes off the bench. I think that in that starting lineup, just his inability to knock down the open shot consistently doesn't really, fit in with the way that they want to play as far as that 5-out system.
Right. No, that could happen. I mean, Josh Hart's a good player, but having Josh Hart be a starter might not be good because, as we've said with guys like that, when you start playing them too many minutes in those starters' minutes is when they get exposed. But here we are talking about if you start playing Josh Hart too many minutes, clearly that guy, he made his bones playing too many minutes.
Sure.
So, but I think that could be interesting. I mean, if this kid Dadier can progress to that point, that would be amazing. I doubt it.
Especially now that
It would be
Shamit
amazing.
is out.
Yeah,
He got the dislocated shoulder. He looked like he was going to be a rotational guard for us.
What'd they say? How long?
I just saw dislocated shoulder and
Right.
indefinite.
They haven't
Indefinite.
Right.
Yeah, so they don't have a timetable for him yet. So somebody else is going to have to step up and get minutes. And for a second, it looked like maybe Kolek might be the odd man out. As far as I saw a game the other day where he didn't play, where you had Campaign and you had Shamit getting all of the minutes for the guard off the bench. But now it looks like Kolek is definitely going to be thrust into a role. And I think that Dadier on the wing, he's going to end up being one of the backup wings. Your boy OG looks fantastic.
OG's defense is just outrageous. Man.
It's outrageous. There's times where
can you let the other team play?
Right. It almost seems like he's like sometimes where with my son who, where I have to tell him, take it easy on him a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when he's playing in a league and, they're up by a bunch and he's playing against a kid who's just clearly is not on the same level. And, it feels like OG does that sometimes on an NBA court where it's like, back up off that dude for a second. Let him dribble.
Killing him, man. You're killing him. His arms get longer as the game is going on.
It seems that way. And he seems like he's being very aggressive on the offensive side. It seems like he's, worked on his bag a little bit. His pull-up jump shot looks better than it did last year. I'm hoping that, he's stretching and hopefully he's doing the same type of plyometric yoga shit that Brunson is doing. Yeah. And Brunson looks like he is in great mid-season form. You can tell physically he looks like he's in great shape. And the other thing that I saw from him, the three looks so pure. And remember, Brunson made a huge jump in 3-point shooting last year as far as overall quantity and his overall percentage. And that took him to the next level. Now we're going to see, I think, maybe even a little bit more of a jump. And then also I saw this thing about how Brunson, his numbers at the rim are actually much worse on the Knicks than they were when he played for Dallas. And that's because Dallas ran much more of a 5-out system. So when he was getting to the rim, he was getting into the rim and there was no big man down there to, bother his shot. He's going to see, there's a couple times I've already seen where he's getting layups and it's like, if Mitch is on the floor right there, that's not a layup because I'm watching Gobert guard Cat 2 feet behind the line and have to be right up on this guy. And so he's going to get a lot more shots like that. And the thing that you said that you said last week that I'm definitely seeing as well is his assist numbers are going to jump up for sure.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm sorry. I just have to change the subject real quick here. Meant to mention to you that I saw that the Mets before the game today, the Mets were plus 1,000 to make it to the,
to win the World Series.
No, to make it to the World Series. It was like plus 2,500 or maybe more than that to win it all.
That can't be the case with their.
I heard somebody
4
talking
teams,
about that.
With there only being only 4 teams left.
Right. But it's because they were down by so much. I don't know. Can you see what the line was before the game?
No, that would be hard for me to see before the game. Playoff series props. All right, keep talking. I'll
anyway, the Knicks, man,
the Mets are plus 400. They're plus 400 to win this series right now.
Okay. Well, I must have misremembered.
Yeah, with there only being 4 teams, there's no way the odds could be that long. But anyway.
No way, right? But I think Tibbs is ready. He was ripping into the subs today when they blew the game at the end. But that's good. Let them catch on, man. Yeah, they blew that game. They threw it away.
They did throw it away. They did throw that game away for sure.
Yeah, we had that game. But, I think it's going to be an interesting season. I do think we're going to still need some more time to gel. We got to still grow together a little bit more. But I think it's going to be a good season, man. I feel positive about us.
Your defense is going to be fantastic. We got the wing stop boys. We got Brunson looking like he's ready to go. I'm okay with Josh Hart not shooting the ball too much, and I'm okay with him being the starting shooting guard. I do think that over time that might evolve, and I don't think he's going to end the season as the starting shooting guard. But obviously there's going to be so many different things that happen over the course of a season. All we got to do is pray for health, man. Just if we can be healthy, obviously we have as good of a shot as anybody. I haven't seen anybody that doesn't have us in the top 5 at least when it comes to the power rankings. And over in Philadelphia, your boy Paul George has already got a bone bruise, hyperextension. It looked bad. It looked like it was about like season over. It looked like, but it looks like he has avoided that, and he's probably going to be out for a couple weeks. It is a bone bruise. Then you have there's rumors
like
that they're going
to.
Oh, listen, Paul George. It's always an issue with him, even though last year he was about as healthy as he's been in quite some time, at least since back to his Indiana days. And his boy Kawhi. You see him, he's out indefinitely. Man. And think about this. They got
So a Perk said about Kawhi?
What did he say? Oh, they should retire.
Want to retire.
Yeah.
They just gave this guy, and I don't understand this guy, Bomber. I'm sorry. But you just gave this guy, what, a 3-year, $150 million extension. Kawhi Leonard.
Because you like him? You think he's a nice guy?
You just think he's a nice guy.
You like his laugh.
Because he sits quietly. Right. You know, you like his laugh. I mean, that's stupidity.
I don't get it.
He's going to play about 75 games in 3 years, max.
Right.
I don't get that, man.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And think about this. The Thunder. The Thunder got SGA in that trade. Okay. They got that kid Williams, the draft pick. They got a draft pick for that kid Williams, who that kid is a fucking stud. So solid. And there's somebody else too that another draft pick that's a guy that's like a rotational player for them, and they got all that they got for Kawhi. They got for Paul George.
Like the Clippers are just, they let Paul George leave, but it just seems like they just over the years they stockpile aging superstars. They don't have any intention of getting younger.
It's what the Knicks used to do for so many fucking years. The Amari Stoudemires, the Penny. Really bad was like the Grant Hills, the Penny Hardaways, the Tracy McGrady's, and the Steve Francises, and all that shit. And finally we stopped doing that. And this guy Ballmer thought he was going to come in and just throw his money at the situation, and that's not how you build in the NBA. It's just not. It's not. We've seen it over and over again. You can't. That super team shit. It worked for LeBron a few times, but it seldom works. It's
right, and I mean it works for LeBron because he's LeBron. You know what I mean? Yeah, you could try to build a super team, but if one of those pieces isn't LeBron, you're probably not going to be as successful as that Miami deal.
Yeah. That helps. What do you think of Bronny so far? Have you seen any new film? I watched him play. He hasn't played great. He hasn't played horrible. But I mean, it's just I almost feel bad for this kid. The microscope is fucking on him, dude. I mean, people are just nonstop, just coming at this guy all the time. I mean, it's just like Jesus.
Yeah, but come on, all of us would sign up for that 10 times. Come on, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Kids leading a blessed life.
But I think that
but there's much tougher things like going out and making a living every day.
Sure. Relatively speaking, sure. I just think that his whole. I feel bad for the kid. I feel bad for the kid. I really do. I do. I just I just want this kid to get a chance. And there's such a microscope on him, and I don't know if his dad did the right thing by basically forcing him to get drafted. But we all say that we would do the same for our kids. I mean, at least that's what I would say. And then he's
probably going to end up running a team someday. This kid, you know what I mean? Working for his dad.
But he wants to be an NBA ball player. That's what he wants to do.
And he'll get his shot, Nick. He'll get a shot, and if he's any good, he'll get his.
If he's any good, he'll stick. Yeah.
And if he's halfway decent, he'll stick with some team. But if he's not, he won't.
Yeah.
I hear you. It's tough on him, but he'll be all right.
He'll be all right. Did you see the Jonte Porter rule?
No. Oh, you mean this guy's brother who was gambling?
Yes. So the NBA's betting partners will not offer under or prop bets on players making the lowest salaries or working on 2-way or 10-day contracts. This agreement includes major sports books like FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM. That to me was always the thing about this. That was obviously it was stupid on a lot of different levels, but that to me was always the thing that was the stupidest. Was like, dude, you think that you're betting hundreds of thousands of dollars on Jonte Porter over unders, and that's not going to raise some eyebrows? Somebody's not going to flag that and be like, what's going on here?
It's literally beyond stupid. I mean, you have to be a child not to understand why that would not. I think most children would understand that would cause attention. Anybody above the age of 15 would understand that. I'm serious.
Talk about fumbling the bag. The guy's going to make $4 million this year. $4 million, and was probably going to make another if he just stay in the league for enough years, you're gonna make another fucking $20-30 million,
And he's going to
you want to
prison,
do
right?
some parlay bullshit. Yeah. He's
For how
probably.
long?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think he's been sentenced yet. I don't know. That's a good
What a
question.
tool.
Yeah, it's
And,
it was.
you don't do well in prison with the name John Tay.
This is true. He's expected to
Diddy.
receive a sentence of 41 to 51 months in prison.
You know what I'm saying, man? That's 4 years, man.
And these pats are going to be looking at him
4
like, you
years in the
dumb
clink.
motherfucker. But
Right.
you know what? He's got enough money. Between him and his brother, he's got, his brother's got enough money that I'm sure he's going to make sure that he's, taken care of and protected when
You
he's on
always
the
think
inside.
that, Nick. It doesn't always just work that way. Just because somebody's got money, until that money gets to the right person, well, until it gets there, he might have a tough time with it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm him, I'm, I listen. This is,
Not
I don't have
everybody
any
knows
personal, I
somebody
don't have
in
any
prison
personal
who can take
experience
care
with
of
this,
somebody.
but I don't have any personal experience with this. But from what I'm told, from some of my, felonious cohorts, that is that, you get that money to that person before you even get in there.
Okay, Nick. That's
And
if
they put out the word that
from
you're
the street. You know this person. You know that person. A lot of people don't know those people, Nick.
Yeah, I think the money allows you to know those people. I think if you have enough money, you can, talk to somebody. And I mean, what's that Will Ferrell movie where he went
Get hard.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, and he went in
Shit.
prison, and he was, come
Talk
on.
about no Diddy.
Right.
All right, yeah. I think this is a pretty good time to transition away from that conversation
I agree.
and transfer over to the segment that everybody is waiting for. Okay, because last week you went 3 for 3. That is the second time in the last 3 weeks that you have gone 3 for 3. Okay, so if you want to win some money, you need to be paying attention, and you need to be watching this segment that we like to call the Big Guy Locks. All right, big guy, talk to me. What are you liking this week? Who are you seeing? Peer into the crystal ball for me. Let's make some money.
All right. So this week, my first pick is a tough one because I don't want them to win, but they're at home. They're going to be pumped after the win last week when they beat us. It's laying a lot of points. I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm laying 8.5 with the Bills over the Titans up in Buffalo.
Okay, just so you know, that line has now moved to 9.5. You still like it?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Let me come back to that. You know what I do like, though? I like the Eagles -3 in MetLife.
Okay.
In the Saquon Bowl.
Okay,
Saquon's
I got
gonna
Eagles
go
-3.5 actually, but yeah, I got that live right now on DraftKings. But it sounds like you're liking that. I mean, Saquon back in MetLife Stadium, that's going to be quite the homecoming from him. He's going to be looking to do big things. And then Sirianni, he was had all this.
He's a tool.
What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? How do you think that that's going to play? Is you going back and forth with some like, come on, guy, like
tool shed. Okay, here's another one that I really like. Bengals -4.5 against the Erie Lake folks from Cleveland.
Bengals -4.5 against Cleveland, and that game's in Cleveland. Listen, okay. First of all, we gotta talk to you about whatever sports book you're using and what lines you're getting, because that's currently.
Oh, I'm just looking on some ESPN thing.
It's currently 6 points. Is it an ESPN thing from a few days ago?
Earlier in the week, yeah.
Yeah. Come on, we need current lines. All right, the Bengals right now they are -6 against against the Browns. You still like the Bengals? Bengals lay the 6. Okay, Bengals -6.
And
what else you got? Yeah, you got Eagles. You got Eagles -3.5. You said you wanted to come back to the Bills. Bills -9.5. You rolling with that one?
Yeah, no. I'm bailing off of that, and I'm going with the Falcons over the Seahawks in Atlanta. In the dirty
let me
South.
tell you what the spread is.
Okay, what's the real line now?
They're 3-point favorites.
Okay, I'm still laying 3. That's good.
Okay, so Eagles -3.5, Bengals -6, Falcons -3. All right,
man.
Those are the big guy locks. We got a huge Mets game 6 coming up Sunday against the Dodgers. The Mets, who have been resilient all season, look to keep their season going and get it to a game 7. And we got the Knicks starting next week on Tuesday against the Boston Celtics. It's ring night. We're going into Boston looking to spoil their tea party. Can't wait, man. It's a great time.
And
Great
then,
time.
next Friday we play Indiana at the Garden.
Let's go. Garden's going to be electric.
That's right.
Garden's going to be absolutely electric. Jets, can we get it together? Hopefully, Davante Adams is the godsend, and we figure it out now. And, hey, we can finish this season on an insane hot streak and get into the playoffs. We'll see how that all plays out. But very exciting time for our Knicks, Mets, and Jets. Love that the NBA season is starting. Hockey season is starting. Not your cup of tea, but my Rangers are 3-0-1. They're undefeated. And, I don't know. I can't say there's been another time, even with the Jets doing what they're doing right now, the level of optimism that I have around my teams, the fact that they're all fairly young and hopefully have, years to come. But as we know, that can change in an instance. You did this to me, big guy, some time long ago. And this is, a time that I'm actually pretty thankful for.
There you go.
Catch us every week on YouTube, wherever you find your podcast. Please follow, like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification button on all platforms. Really appreciate all the love. You can find us on all socials at he_did this to me. Love you, big guy.
Kid.